Hi purple people, it's Tamika. I am sitting here making a last minute tutu for Ayana for her homecoming parade today, and I'm sitting outside her school still almost an hour before she gets out, so I figured might as well, while I have time and it's quiet, make a video that I've been wanting to make for over a year now, and I've been saying I was going to make it. Well, here it is. So, because you follow me, obviously you know I deal with epilepsy. And before I get into the video, I'm gonna just give you a quick update of what's been going on, because I'm sure some of you want to know why I haven't been on in so long. And it's because I've been having migraines almost daily, and I'm in grad school and I have an extremely heavy workload this semester, so that's been keeping me busy. But I started having seizures again, and I guess about 2 weeks ago I actually chipped my tooth during a seizure. So between school, the kids, and my health, I have just not had the energy to make videos. I honestly barely have the energy to get out of the bed in the morning, but que sera, sera. It is what it is, and I just have to keep moving because I'm a mom and a student and I'm a fighter, right? So this video is kind of long, and I know YouTube on my phone, the app will not let me make a video as long as I want it to be. So there will be a part 2. So after I upload this one, I'll just make a second one. So let's get into it. The topic for this video is chronic illness and depression. So I don't know if you know this. It's something I didn't learn until, guys, I think I'm doing this wrong. Hold on a minute. I don't know if you know this or are aware of this, but a lot of times, chronic illness and depression go hand in hand, and it's extremely unfortunate because both cause mental and physical, they wreak mental and physical havoc in your life, and it's really hard to deal with both of them individually. So when you're dealing with them together, it's rough. So, and what I'm about to say is not necessarily everyone's story, but it is my story. So I'll tell you my story. Before I was diagnosed with epilepsy, I noticed some changes in my behavior. I was very disinterested in anything. Nothing made me happy. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go anywhere. I wasn't eating. Didn't want to shower. Didn't want to, I had this one spot on my couch that I pretty much stayed in all day, every day. Didn't want to, I don't know, just wasn't interested in anything. And there would be times where I would be driving or just sitting down or doing nothing and literally just start bawling uncontrollably, literally sobbing. And I really didn't have a reason. It would just come out, and I couldn't control it. I couldn't stop it. It just happened. And I didn't understand it for a long time. I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. This is weird. I'm a little weird. I don't know what's going on. And I didn't understand what was going on with me, so I didn't expect Quincy to understand what was going on with me. And he'd be like, I mean, just get up and do something. Make yourself feel better. Nothing made me feel better. So I went to my primary care doctor and was like, hey, I think I'm depressed. And she was like, okay, here's some pills. Sound right to me. Gave me some pills. I thought they were a little miracle pill, because the next day I'm bopping around, I'm smiling, I'm singing, I'm dancing, It didn't make me feel like loopy or anything. I just really felt more normal than I had felt the day before. Like, I just felt normal. I felt like me again. So I thought that was the end of that. I thought, I'm just gonna take this pill and I'm gonna feel better, and that's gonna be the end of it. But I still felt this emptiness. Something still didn't feel right. Every once in a while I would still like cry, not sobbing cry, but just sit down and kind of cry to myself. It just wasn't as bad as it was before. So still a little weird, right? But I was still having my migraines like crazy. In case you didn't know, I've been dealing with migraines since I was a teenager. Sometimes I would actually have to, like in high school, I'd have to leave my car at school and my mom would have to come get me. So I've dealt with migraines for a very long time. It's just now where it's as frequent as it is. Now I'm suffering about 24 days a month. Yeah, that's a lot, I know. That's why you guys don't see me as much. And they're getting really bad. I have one today. Let me see if my eyes are... Yeah, my eye is swollen. Don't look at my eyebrows. Don't judge me. Anywho, it's bad, y'all. But yeah, so I've always dealt with migraines, but they had gotten to the point where, like, I would always, like when I was younger, I could kind of push through them. But like I said, they weren't as frequent. Well, after I thought I had depression, my migraines like steadily increased. So that caused me to go to the doctor and be like, hey, what's going on? Like, we need to figure out why I'm having migraines all the time. Thankfully, this doctor I saw was my new primary care physician, but she was also an internal specialist. So she kind of had insight into the body that most primary care doctors don't have, because they're usually family practitioners, deal with like colds and pink eye and stuff like that. So like she started like looking at my hands and looking at my eyes, not like, oh, let me see, but just like literally just took a general glance of me and was like, hey, look this way for me, look that way. Oh, okay. Started asking Quincy some questions. Next thing you know, I'm going to see a pulmonologist, I'm going to see a neurologist, I'm going to see a rheumatologist. So rheumatologist said it wasn't rheumatoid arthritis, which we initially thought it was. It wasn't rheumatoid arthritis, thank goodness, because that means eventually I would be paralyzed. So that was good to hear. But I had a few markers for lupus, but it was inconclusive because I didn't have enough markers to be diagnosed. So that was that. Couldn't diagnose it as lupus just yet. It wasn't enough evidence, but it's still on the table as of now. But the neurologist, he was like, I don't know if you're having seizures, like, I don't know. Like, he's like, seizures usually start young. Like, you don't usually develop epilepsy when you're older, like in your 30s. This is kind of odd. So he didn't believe that I had epilepsy, but he appeased my primary care doctor and did the EEG anyway. Did the EEG that morning. That afternoon, I was getting a call from him saying, hey, I put some meds in for you at the pharmacy. You might want to go get those because you have epilepsy. Fun, right? So, yeah, I went, got my prescription. Got my prescription and followed the instructions, and he said, but I want to see you back. I'm like, okay. So I went back and he explained everything to me and talked to me. And the reason I say chronic illness and depression are related, I'm getting to that right now, because you probably want to know, like, okay, she hasn't mentioned how they connect yet. This is the connection, you guys. I started epilepsy medication, no joke. So, okay, started epilepsy medication. I had to change the miracle pill that I was initially on because it actually contributes to seizures. Go figure. They didn't know I had epilepsy when they gave me that medication though. So I had to stop. So they kept putting me on different antidepressants, and it just like literally made me feel nothing, like completely numb. And I didn't like it because I was never happy, and I was never sad. I was never angry. I was never like, I wasn't anything. Just, I was just there. So didn't like that. So, and we tried multiple medications and none of them worked. So I'm like, can we just like not do antidepressants for now and kind of see how that goes? And the doctor was like, if that's really what you want to do, yep, that's really what I want to do. So he allowed me to do that, and that's what I did. I stopped taking antidepressants, and you know what? Ever since I've been on seizure medication, I have not battled depression since. Funny how that goes, huh? So that's why I say they're connected. When your body is out of whack and can't comprehend what's going on, and not only can it not comprehend, but it can't, what's the word I want to use? It can't supplement what's going on, it freaks out. And sometimes the way it freaks out is depression, unfortunately. So that's why I say depression and chronic illness are related. And then of course, once you are diagnosed and you have this bomb dropped on you, you can also suffer depression. So I'm not saying it doesn't occur within a chronic illness, but it definitely sometimes can occur. And pay attention to the words I'm using. I'm not saying always and will. I said sometimes can occur before you even are diagnosed, because your body can't supplement what it needs, and it just kind of goes haywire, especially with something like epilepsy, which affects your brain anyway. So that's my story. I'm just sitting here making a tutu for Ayana, a last minute tutu. It is 1:50 p.m. She needs it at 5 p.m. Isn't that great? If you've been my friend on Facebook for any amount of time, you know I am famous for last minute tutus. I've made Lillian a Christmas tutu last minute. I've made Ayana tutus last minute. Last year she was the mascot at her middle school. I made that tutu last minute. I'm just a last minute tutu maker. Not because